Hey everyone, I'm Travis Wright, and you're listening to I'm a Fan Of, your show for music, comedy, and more. As always, if you are a musician, a comedian, or just someone that does something interesting, you can reach out to me on Instagram at TravisCanListen. You can find me on Facebook at I'm a Fan Of, or you can reach out to me through the website at I'mAFanOfPod.com. This episode, our interview guest is a hilarious stand-up comic, Latrice Wilkerson, from right here in the DFW area. Super funny, and she just released a debut comedy album called I Know, Right? And she's so funny. I've always enjoyed watching her live. I've wanted to have her on the show for quite a while now. The pandemic kind of messed some things up. You'll hear us talk about that in the interview just a little bit. But she's here now, and her album is great, and I can't wait for you to hear the interview. But first, as always, we've got to check out some new music. The band I want to share with you today is called Wet Leg. Their debut album is also self-titled, Wet Leg. Super fun band. It's a full band that performs live and all those types of things, but the founders are two ladies from a place called Isle of Wright, spelled W-R-I-G-H-T, much like your host, Travis Wright. So there's already a connection there for us. Anyhow, that's in England, I believe. And they are so much fun. The music, just lots of great beats, lots of great tones in terms of like how they're playing instruments like their guitars. It's really, really fun. It's energetic, and it's just great fun music. I can't wait to share it with you. Actually, let's stop talking about it. Let's share it. The first song I want to play for you, again, off the self-titled first album, Wet Leg. This song is called Chaise Longue. Go ahead and take it. Again, that was Chaise Longue by Wet Leg from their debut album, self-titled also, Wet Leg. Super, super fun, man. I just love the beat, love the driving guitars. And it's like you got all this loud energy next to a vocal that basically talks in the microphone. So much fun. You can start piecing together all the different genres that they must enjoy to make music that is that fun, that entertaining, and that interesting. That song is actually what helped me personally discover this band, which is I saw a live performance of them where even though there's these low energy vocals in the song, the crowd was just going crazy. People just dancing and banging their heads, shouting these words. And then when those big, huge guitar parts kick in, the crowd was going wild. And I just thought it's so much fun to see a low energy vocal like that still capture and warrant high energy crowds. Fantastic. Absolutely love it. The next song I want to play for you is off that same album, of course, and it's simply titled Your Mum.
When I think about what you've become, I feel sorry for your mum. You say we're all having fun. Do you know you're the only one? When the lights go down on this fucking town, I know it's time to go. And when the radio plays and the static stays, yeah, I know it's time to go. I get up to go now. I give up now. I don't want you to want me. I need you to forget me. Yeah, I loved you, that was crazy, 'cause you just don't motivate me. You said that you try your best. Why is this such a fucking mess? You're always so full of it. Yeah, why don't you just suck my dick? When the lights go down on this fucking town, I know it's time to go. And when you're getting blazed, spooning mayonnaise, yeah, I know it's time to go. I get up to go now. I give up on you now. I don't want you to want me. I need you to forget me. Yeah, I loved you, that was crazy, 'cause you just don't motivate me. I've been practicing my longest and loudest scream. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Again, that was Your Mum by Wet Leg. We will play one more song for them at the end of the show, but now it's time to move on to our interview guest, the hilarious stand-up comic Latrice Wilkerson. She's so funny. She's got a debut comedy album out now called I Know, Right? And we talk about that extensively in this. We talk about many, many other things. She is super, super funny on the stage, and I'm so glad I got to talk to her. She's so interesting as an individual as well. Can't wait to talk to her again and see more live shows. Let's go ahead and play a clip from her album. Please go stream that everywhere you can find it. We'll play that clip right now, and then we'll roll right into the interview.
My husband, he's in the military, he's in the Army. And one night, we were sleeping, and it was 3 o'clock in the morning, and we wake up because the car had crashed into the little transformer thing outside. And I wake up, and it gave off like this bluish greenish light, and immediately I thought aliens, right? Because it looked just like that Independence Day light, like when they were standing on the roof. So my first thought was, I need to go to the closet and put some more pants on, because my train of thought was, if they have to try too hard, they might not want to probe me. I did the same thing when my parents tried to whoop me when I was younger. It was like, I'm going to whoop you when I get home. I was like, good luck, because this is my 5th pair of jeans. So I'm thinking I need to go to the closet, put some more jeans, put as many pairs of pants on as I can fit on. And my husband, him being in the military, he thought, war, right? So he see the light. We wake up, he pushed me off the bed, and he was like, stay down. And he went over there to the window and looked out the window for like 30 minutes, I guess trying to figure out what was going on. And the entire time I'm on the floor masturbating, because that was the hottest thing that ever happened to me. Yo, if you never had a man push you off the bed and tell you to stay down, what else do you need?
Latrice Wilkerson,
Hi.
welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Do you remember I tried to get you on the show before the pandemic?
No, I don't.
It was a long time ago.
Was it?
Yeah, that was like, we had a date that we were trying to get squared away, and then everything got locked down. And I've been depressed ever since. And when you put out the comedy album, I was like, all right, because I didn't know if you were performing lately or not. I couldn't tell.
Yeah, I did. I'm just terrible on social media.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
I'm trying to be better at it.
Do you know Scott Crisp?
Yes, I do.
I just had him on here, and he's the same way. It's like, I've only ever seen him if he just happens to be on the show. And I'm like, dude, could you just post something every now and then? But yeah, I wanted to get you. I'm really upset too. Like, I wish the pandemic had been 1 month later so I could have had you on the show before you put this album out.
Yeah.
And then have you on again afterwards. But either way, I'm so excited.
It's all my fault.
How do you feel now that it's released?
I feel so, actually, I feel really relieved.
Yeah.
I've just been kind of nervous the entire time.
Uh-huh.
But a lot of people gave me a lot of positive feedback
It's great.
yesterday. So I was like, oh, awesome.
And that's the first time I've heard you perform comedy since, I think the last time I watched you was at Dallas Comedy House before they closed.
Yeah.
Didn't they do like a Just for Laughs
Oh,
audition show
you saw
or
me
something?
there?
Yeah,
okay.
I think that's where it was.
Okay, yeah.
And that was so it's that's been like 2.5 years, right?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, and so it was so fun to hear. I remembered a few of the bits, and then a lot of the stuff I was like, I don't remember any of this. This is great. Do you get nervous about now it's all released on an album? Do you feel like you got to burn it all and write all new material?
Yeah, actually I do. But I have merch for one of the jokes, and you kind of have to do
Yeah, you
that
have to
joke
keep
to
doing that
sell
one.
the merch.
Which one do you have the merch for?
The Walmart joke.
Oh, yeah. That's a killer.
Yeah.
That's a killer. That's the one I remember the most because I feel like you were doing some act outs at the JFL show that I saw.
Yeah, I was.
I feel like I remember you like getting on the ground or something.
Yeah, I do. People love that joke.
Oh, man. You got to film a couple of those bits because a couple of those bits that you're doing on the album, I can tell you're doing something either with your body or your face that's
the
getting the
thing.
laugh.
I did film it, and I'm in the process of putting them all into short form. So I'm gonna put up shorts for them.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Where? So I know you said it was in Denton. Where at in Denton did you record it?
I'm a terrible
Was it a
person
venue?
because it wasn't a comedy venue.
Yeah.
It was like a restaurant, but they had a separate part for performances, I guess. Like
Okay.
a separate little big room.
Yeah.
I forgot the name of the place because
Was it like on the square or somewhere?
Oh, it wasn't
No?
on the square.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
it was on a street.
On a street.
Yeah,
What do you mean
could
on a
totally
street?
drive there.
Oh, okay. How did you?
It was called The Dive. There we go.
How did you
Click.
decide on that place?
Well, me and a friend of mine were talking about venues, and I wanted to do Hyenas, but in the Red Room, but the lighting is kind of iffy, so I didn't want to do that. Then it's also kind of it's not hard to film in the main room, but I just don't like where it is because people can sit right next to the camera and the audio and stuff.
Yep.
And then that place just ended up working out best because I did a couple shows there before and the audio sounded great.
Yeah. Who did the audio for you?
Mana.
Mana, she did it. Okay, because I saw
Mana and Ian.
I saw the Claws Out comedy stuff, so I figured she produced all this, right?
Yeah, she did.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she did a great job too.
I'm so excited to see her getting to the point of producing stuff like that for people.
Yeah.
Because I know she's been hustling and grinding with her
Yeah.
Claws Out stuff, for a while now. And that's great. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Did she approach you about doing an album, or did you approach her?
Oh, I mentioned that I wanted to do an album, and then she just
She's
took
like,
off
"Let's
with it.
go."
She was like, "Yeah, I got it."
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's exactly what the scene around here needs more of. I'm not a comedian. I just love comedy. And I feel like that's all that's missing is you guys have all the great ideas of what you want to do.
Yeah.
But it's hard to find people to help you get it done.
Yeah, no,
know?
she's totally one of those people.
That's
I went
awesome.
over her house to like work over some stuff,
Yeah.
and I promise you, we was there for an hour, and she did about 20 things, and I was like, I finished this one thing you told me to do. Nah, she's just super hard working. It's crazy.
I would say it's because you're a comic and you're all supposed to be lazy, but she's a comic
Yeah.
too. So
Yeah.
and she hustles.
Yeah, way to make me feel bad about
Right?
myself. I don't hang around that type of negativity.
Hey, speaking about negativity, we're recording here in Deep Ellum in Dallas, and you
Yes.
throw a lot of shade at Dallas on your album.
And look,
Where does this Dallas hate come from?
What do you mean? On my way here, there was construction.
It's just the construction?
They cut off 3 lanes, and
Yeah.
I was like, we only got 4.
No. And today, like, you know, y'all don't know this yet, but I was apologizing the whole time when she just came in because I normally send the address out
Yeah.
for our interviews.
Yeah.
And then it's like 9 a.m. We're recording around, 11:30 today?
Yeah.
And I didn't check my phone until like 10:30. And you're like, hey, is this remote or is this in person? And I was like, fuck, I forgot to send the address to her. I was like, oh my God, she already hates Dallas. Now this guy's dragging her out here last minute.
Yeah, you tricked me into
Yeah.
coming to.
Where'd you grow up at?
I grew up in Duncanville.
Duncanville? Okay.
Yeah, which is close enough to Dallas.
Yeah. You've
Yeah.
always been Dallas adjacent. And
Yeah.
where do you live now?
I live in Fort Worth now.
So you went
Yeah.
way far away from
Yeah,
us.
as far as I could get.
I love Fort Worth. but
I actually tried to get out of Texas, but I couldn't find my way out.
where'd you want to go?
I don't know. It took like 15 hours. You can drive for like 15 hours
Yeah.
and still be in Texas.
Yeah.
I
You never
was
thought
like,
about
I
going
give
to
up.
another state though?
I did it first, but Dallas actually has a really good comedy scene. Like,
I
you
know.
don't need to move. So why would I purposely go somewhere and lose money?
Yeah. I was just talking about that, how I didn't realize how spoiled we were with all these clubs. That when you go to other places, you realize they might have one.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay. I thought every place just had 8,
Yeah.
9 clubs.
Yeah.
When did you start comedy then?
I started like my senior year of high school. I did maybe like 2 backdoor open mics.
Mm-hmm.
And then my parents was like, I'm not driving you here every Thursday.
Your parents drove you there?
Yeah, they have a car. And then right when I graduated, they got me a car. And I was like, you'll never see me again.
What did they say when you were like, I want to do comedy?
They thought it was like a little hobby, whatever. They were like, okay. And then when I started getting more serious about it, that's when my mom went into like panic mode. She was like, so what are you going to do with your life?
But that first time when you told them, were they like, oh, okay, cute? And then when you're like, I
Yeah.
need you to drive me to Backdoor
Yeah,
Comedy Club.
but my parents are so like weirdly awesome. They were all like, what are you gonna do with your life? Like panicking, but they still at the show. Just like you're not doing anything with your life, but this joke is funny. But they're on board now. They're all good with it.
I about died on your album, that section where you start to tell mom about your joke, and or you start to tell a joke about your mom.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming she's in the crowd,
Yeah,
right?
she was there.
Because there's just this pause and laughter from people who know what's up.
Yeah.
And then I immediately remembered you telling a joke about masturbating.
Oh yeah, that was weird.
And now your mom is sitting there while that's going on.
Yeah.
I don't think I could get those words out of my mouth in front of my parents. How do you do that? How do you get past that cringe?
Well, my parents actually did. My parents, like, ever since I became like an adult, like
Yeah.
I got married, like they just let loose all the time. They just have very loose lips when I come over to their house.
Really?
Yeah. And so my mom would like talk about like sexual stuff like out of nowhere, and I'm like, can you stop?
You're like, who is this?
Yeah, it's just knocking years off my life.
Oh my God.
I don't want to hear about it.
Oh, so it doesn't even faze her anymore then.
Nah, not really.
Oh my God. That's so funny. I mean, just that whole, like when I remembered you had told that joke, I'm not going to step on any of your bits here. Go listen to the album, but about your husband looking out the window when y'all heard a noise.
Oh,
And all
yeah.
that. I was dying over that.
Yeah, that really happened.
Well, I know because I'm picturing myself hearing a noise and getting up and staring out the window like there's something out there. I mean,
Yeah,
whatever
like
it is.
assessing the situation.
Yeah, like I mean, well, and like from what I gathered, he's got like a military background,
Yeah.
so he might be able to do some. I have no
Yeah.
military background.
Yeah.
I have no fighting background. I don't really have a game plan if there's something out there.
Yeah, but you was ready though.
I was ready. Yeah. Like I think my game plan is like if I can just die slowly enough that my wife and son can get away,
Yeah.
then I'll be a hero still.
That's sweet.
But I don't think I'm coming out of it
You
alive.
did a thing where you stand at the window and try to look big.
Oh my
like
God.
try to look big.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, baby, put the light behind me, but cast a shadow that looks
Yeah.
bigger than what I am.
That's smart.
Yeah,
Smart.
yeah. When did you feel like you finally started taking it seriously? That like, okay, this isn't a hobby. I feel like I enjoy this, because you said you started with the Backdoor Comedy Club open mics.
Yeah.
And then what?
That's a great question. I'm not exactly sure when I started sick. Probably when I got my first $20. Like when I did one of my first paid shows. Yeah, and I got like $20 in a drink, and I was like, "This is it.
This is the life.
This is it."
Do you remember who paid
They
you?
feed me?
Who paid you the first 20?
No, it was a show in Garland at some like Italian restaurant,
Hell yeah.
and they were like, "Get set, $20."
$20,
Yeah.
free food, Italian restaurant.
Boy, I rubbed that
And
20
you're
in my
like-
parents' face,
and
and they
you're
were like,
And you're like, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life.
"Yeah." I was like, "Look, Mom, you don't need to worry.
Yeah.
I'm fed."
I want to do a whole interview series where I bring in parents and the comic.
Oh, that'll be nice.
But I want the comic to be totally silent, maybe not even in the room, I don't know, and just interview the parents about like, what'd y'all think when she said, hey, I just got $20 from this Italian restaurant.
Yeah.
And they're like, would you please go to college?
Yeah.
What do they do for a living?
My mom is a bank manager,
Uh-huh.
and my dad works at UPS.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
got a straight-laced job then.
They do.
Yeah.
Very straight. They've been there for years, too.
Does
so.
he work in DFW, that UPS?
I actually don't know.
Yeah.
I think he works somewhere in Dallas, but I'm not exactly sure like what building
Yeah.
or like what type of UPS it is.
My wife did a summer job at UPS.
Oh, really?
You ever heard of the Hub?
Yeah, I heard of it.
You know the Hub where they fill all the trucks and all that?
Yeah.
She was one of the loaders.
Oh, that must have sucked.
Yeah, and she rubs it in my face because we weren't dating. I didn't know her. We dated once, then we split up for a very long time, and then now we're married. But that time where we were split up, she went and got a job at UPS. I had also went and applied for that same job, and I walked around and I was like, no, this is just too much work. I'm not going to do
That's
this.
not me.
Yeah, so she rubs it in my face that she was out there in the middle of summer in
Yeah.
this metal building with no air conditioning, throwing boxes and 18-wheelers.
Does she try to take your job around the house? Like she open up jars instead of you?
First of all, she runs the house.
Okay.
She is begging me to do more around the house all the time.
Yeah.
And she's just more type A than I will ever be.
Mm-hmm.
So she's always like, this needs to be done, this like a dish, right? I'm like a rinse it off, put it in the sink, I'll get it later.
Yeah.
And she is like, you rinse it off, you put it in the washing machine right now. And by the way, like all this other stuff's dirty, let's clean up the whole kitchen and get this done. And I'm like, oh God. So she ends up doing so much more around the house because it drives her crazy.
Yeah.
So she's begging me, but I still get the tough jobs. You know?
Yeah. You still get to cut the yard.
Yeah. You're doing comedy full time now?
No, it's not full time. I'm not rich yet.
It feels like it's full time.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
do
see
it a
anything
lot.
on social. I see all of your stuff after you perform, by the
Yeah.
way. So.
Don't fire me up. I'm trying. I don't know. Like social media is so depressing.
It is depressing.
So like every time I go in there, like I want to see something happy, but it's just like people struggling. I'm like,
Yeah.
and it feels insensitive to just put the care emoji. Like,
Yeah. It is like there's really depressing stuff. And sometimes you want to like it so that, because like if I like it, more people will see this and it's important and they need to
Yeah.
see it. But you feel so bad, like.
yeah,
You know?
like I don't have anything positive to say,
Yeah.
but I heard you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They need what you need to do is, I've heard you can trick your own algorithm. Like if you go look at puppies for a full day, you'll start seeing nicer stuff on it.
Okay,
And maybe you can make it what you want it to be.
I'm gonna try that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want social media to be like chronological, because you could post something that's incredible and I just may not see it.
For like 5 days.
Yeah.
And then you're like, congrats, and you're like 5 days late. Yeah.
And it's like I just want in real time how it shows so that I
Yeah.
can see all my friends' stuff. And then I'll see one post for 6 days straight. And I'm like, what? Why am I still seeing this? It's not
Yeah.
good at all. Yeah.
Yeah, I
don't know.
agree. It is annoying.
It's a struggle because as a comic, it's like you have to be kind of a social media ninja
True.
to get any traction.
That's true.
But it sucks.
That's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
I always tell people, they're like, oh, so what do you want? I was like, I don't want to be famous. I just want to be successful.
What does that mean? What is successful but not famous?
So like famous to me, like I guess I'm just taking the word way too far. Like famous, I'm thinking about like Kevin Hart, you know, like that big. But
Yeah, you just want his money, but you don't want to be known.
yeah.
Yeah. So what would be your version of success with comedy then? Like, how do you see that going? If it's like, if you achieved everything you wanted with comedy, What kind of shows would you be doing? Where would your life be at with it?
I feel like I really like writing, so I feel like I'll eventually like go off and like write and still do kind of shows, but mostly write, like, you know, Dion Cole, kind of like that a little bit.
What do you want to write for? Like TV shows? Other comics?
I don't think my writing skill is that great. I could probably write jokes for other comics sometimes, but I do want to get my writing skills up. I actually thought about going to school for it.
How much do you write right now? Like actually like get a pen and paper out and start writing stuff down?
I write probably like once a week. Yeah.
Is that how you write your comedy bits?
I just talk to myself. I pace around the house and I talk to myself. Yeah, that's exactly how it happens. After I get an idea, like I could be talking to my husband or like friends or anything like that, and then like Fat Baby, and I'm like, oh, that's funny. Let me write it down, and then I'll pace around my house later like Fat Baby. What's funny about Fat Baby?
Really?
Yeah.
Have you always done it that way?
Yeah.
Even when you first started doing those open mics?
Yeah, that's pretty much
so
how it
interesting.
happened.
Isn't it funny how different people work on stuff?
Yeah.
How much do you like when you're pacing around the house working on stuff, right? Let's say you get a bit down perfect like that, right? The way you want it. Do like 6 hours go by and you forgot everything?
That has happened before and I almost cried.
Really?
And I kind of want to record myself, but then it's so cringy listening back to it.
It's bad.
It's
bad.
And my husband doesn't think I'm funny at home. Like, I'll tell him a joke and I'll be like, oh, this and this. And he'll be like, oh, okay, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
But then I'll go to the show and I do it anyway and it'll go great. And then he'll be like, well, you didn't say it like that at the house. And I'm like, yeah, I wasn't finished at home.
You're like, I was working on it. You're
I
supposed
can't
to know
blame
what
him.
I'm going for.
Yeah, nothing is ever funny when I'm just like
Yeah.
putting down just like the pencil and paper. And
Yeah, but did he think you were funny when y'all first met? Were you doing comedy when he met you? Okay.
yeah.
But you know, like when you're just hanging out chatting with people,
Yeah.
that's totally different than when you're putting on a set, putting on a show, right?
Yeah, it is.
Does he think you're funny when you're just hanging out?
Yeah, I want to say yeah, but he's so goofy. He tried to be funnier than me.
Yeah.
So like, he'll congratulate himself after he says something funny.
He'll congratulate himself?
Yeah, like he'll say something funny, we all laughing, and then he'll like when the laughing died down, he'll be like, "Man, I'm funny."
He's just like high-fiving people. He's like, that was really good.
That was awesome.
Oh my gosh. Has you ever tried to get him on a stage?
I told him he can go for it if he wants to.
Does he
do
want
it.
to though?
No.
Yeah.
He's a talker, but he starts off kind of like quiet, and then when you get to know him, you like, oh, you never shut up. But
Yeah.
like,
He's one of those dudes who can be like the life of the party when he's around his friends.
yeah.
But if you put him on a stage, he's probably not that funny.
Yeah.
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 That's so funny. Did he so you guys met when you were doing comedy?
Oh yeah, I was already doing comedy.
Already doing
Yeah.
comedy?
He didn't meet me as a comic.
No.
though.
But
yeah.
like y'all are dating.
Yeah.
How long until you're like, so I do comedy?
I think he knew right away. Actually, like I don't think I ever kept it a secret back then, like I would now, because like so many people will just like tell me a joke, and you're just like, that's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So he already knew at the start. How long into a relationship do you wait before you bring someone to a show?
a good question.
That's a lot of pressure, right?
It
'Cause
is
what
a lot
if what if you're fucking terrible? What if he's like, man, she's amazing, she's so sweet, she's
Yeah.
beautiful, she's smart, but this comedy thing's horrific.
I'm not exactly sure on the timeline of when he went to a show, but I know when he did go, he was super shy, and there was way too many people talking to me.
Yeah.
So he was just like kind of confused a little bit.
You don't remember what show though? If it was like a big show, a small
I wish
show?
I did.
Yeah.
It had to be a small show because I met him probably like 3 years into doing comedy.
Okay.
So I wasn't really doing any shows
Yeah.
by then. I was still mostly doing open mics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to be a weird world as like a partner, a spouse coming to comedy shows.
Oh yeah.
Because it's y'all's own little world. Like the comics have like their bubble.
Yeah.
And then it's like it's
Yeah.
them and us,
Yeah.
And like I'm part of the non-us comics. And even me, now that I know some people, and it's like I'm kind of in this weird halfway in, halfway out zone.
Yeah.
And you still feel sometimes like, this conversation's not really for me. I just need to get out
Yeah,
of here.
he feels like that a lot actually, and I feel so bad. I don't know what to do.
Yeah. You're like, just hold this purse.
Yeah. And then it'd be like so many, like, I don't want to say inside jokes, but like kind of jokes that you don't really understand. And so we all laughing, and he's like, that wasn't funny. I
Right.
don't know why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does he go to like a lot of your shows, or do you
Yeah.
go to a lot of them alone?
Yeah, no, he went to like a lot of them in the very beginning, and he's like starting to slow down a little bit, but that's totally understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I was wondering is like the threshold of when he's like, well,
Yeah.
like, would you have been offended if he's like,
No.
I've seen enough of them.
No,
I'm going to stay home tonight.
No, I even tell him sometimes like, you ain't gotta come.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he actually working a lot and he's in school and stuff like that. So even if he does have time, I would be just like, you don't have to go at all.
Yeah.
Stay home and relax.
Yeah. It's a weird world.
Yeah.
So you don't tell people now that you're a comic?
I do, but not like not at like my job or anything
Yeah.
like that.
Are you
So-
worried they'll find out and come to shows? And
No, I mean they can come to shows and stuff. I just don't. It's not like I'm not trying to say it like it's a shame type of thing. I just don't want them constantly asking me questions about everything. And then when you tell people you're a comic, they just start talking about other comics that they like. They just like, oh, you do comedy? Do you know this one comic named blah blah blah?
Yeah.
They got this joke, blah
they're
blah.
like, have you ever heard of Bill Burr?
Yeah,
And you're
like
yeah.
and then they started YouTubing all his stuff, and you just sitting there watching.
Yeah, that's true. Then you are like, oh, you're the funny person in the office.
Yes, and they get so disappointed if you ain't worked with their favorite comic. Like, oh, you never worked with. Like, no, like, okay.
Yeah, and I get that because, so I've been doing this podcast for a couple of years now, and before I really, really got into comedy, I mean, I always loved it, but I was so ignorant to like the process of starting at an open mic,
Oh yeah.
MC, feature, headliner.
Yeah.
So like when I used to go to Hyenas Dallas or something, I just thought, oh, these are all famous comedians. I just don't know who they are. Right.
Little
so if
did you know.
Yeah. So if you're the MC, I was like, oh wow, like all three of these people were great. How are they getting these big names down here?
Yeah.
Like these comedy clubs are amazing.
Yeah.
And then I like went back to another one and I was like, wait, they flew that person in again to do the MC thing. Like, like I thought everybody was from
How
out of
often
town.
do you fly in?
Yeah, I was like, wow, this is interesting. And it's
Yeah.
like once I slowly started learning, you're like, and then I think the craziest part was I went to a Hyenas open mic here
Mm-hmm.
at Dallas on Wednesdays. I didn't realize there's like 80 people trying to do an open mic that
Yes,
night.
there's so many people.
And so you start to realize, like, holy shit, there's a couple hundred people in DFW that are trying to get on shows. And
that's not even everybody.
yeah, like some of those will never, ever make it past an open mic.
Yeah.
Some of them will get really good.
Yeah.
And some of them will just wander in the middle forever,
Yep.
And it's so eye-opening. And now, like, even as a fan, like, I know enough about comedy where when I talk to coworkers about, like, someone was like, oh, do they do comedy shows around here? I was like, yeah, man, they've got this, that. And you can see them getting overwhelmed
Yeah.
when you're like, and then you're like, just go to like the Improv or Hyenas on a Saturday. Just
Yeah.
go to a Saturday show and
Yeah.
just see if it's for you.
Yeah.
But it's crazy how many people just don't even know about comedy.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah. I have so many people like, like live comedy? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
They're like, wow, I've never been to a show before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how do you think they would? Have you had any coworkers go to a show?
Yeah, I've had coworkers go to a show before.
How's it when you come back on Monday?
It's just kind of weird. Like they don't want to talk to you right away because they're just like
Yeah.
I didn't know. Like I thought you were kidding.
Yeah.
And then you were actually good at your job, and it's just like eye opening for them.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
feels like your personality off stage is probably very. I get the vibe that you're more subtle off stage than you are on stage.
I am.
Like you're very reserved and chill.
I am actually.
So that's got to blow their mind when they see you
Yeah.
up there.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm super like I don't really talk about like sex or anything like that.
Yeah.
Or cuss really, and then when I'm on stage it's like you just said masturbate.
Right. Yeah. It's got to be weird for them, right?
Yeah.
Do they come up to you and they're like, wow, you're kind of cool now, huh? Like,
Yeah, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
and
like,
then
wow,
they
you
don't
want to
know
hang
how-
out?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. And then they go tell all the other people. They're like, she does comedy.
Yeah. And then they all come up to me like, so I didn't know you did comedy. Where at?
And then you're like, well, I'm changing jobs.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. And then I've been through 10 jobs this year. No.
Oh my gosh. What? Well, so I don't know if we answered it. I forgot now. We were talking about. Oh, you said you want to do writing and everything, but when you perform comedy, what's like your ideal? Like, do you want to tour and get on the road, or how do you?
I actually do. I want to tour at least like maybe 2 times. I think that'd be like really dope to do.
Yeah, like as
Yeah.
an opener for somebody, or
Nah, I want to tour the hell out of it.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to sound unambitious. I don't know if that's a word, but like I do want to like do all the, like the big stuff. I just don't want people in my business like they do like that.
Yeah.
I just want perfection.
I get what you're saying.
Not asking for a lot.
You want to be really good at comedy, but you don't want the headaches of like
Yeah.
social media, people knowing about you.
Yeah. Just the life you can never have.
I was gonna say, there's got to be a way to do that now, though, right? You
Well, you can. You got to be like Marshmallow, but people see my face already.
what do you mean
like,
you got to be Marshmallow?
You ever the DJ Marshmallow? You never seen his face?
I don't know who that is.
You
I'll have to look it
can
up.
like it's like a DJ. It's like a famous DJ like the Chainsmokers and stuff
Oh,
like
okay,
that
okay.
do music like David Guetta.
Yeah.
But like nobody's ever seen Marshmallow's face because he
Yeah.
always wear a thing over his face.
All right. So
I
we just
should've
need to do
started
that.
It's too late.
Well, it's great you already dropped this album with your face on it and everything.
And I did this podcast.
That's nice. Yeah.
People have proof.
Well, I can pixelate everything on you,
Oh,
and then we can start from there.
Put me in witness protection.
Just tell Mana we're going to scrap everything.
Yeah.
We appreciate her hard work, but we're pulling it all down. Did you feel pressure when someone like her is saying, hey, I want to produce this thing? Do you get worried about, they're putting time and energy into it, and like, what if it doesn't do well?
Oh yeah, of course.
How'd you manage that?
I didn't. Well,
Is she coming up to you smoking a cigarette? Like, you better fucking deliver.
No. She's super like nice and encouraging and like and just authentic person. Cause like she would even like message me because we both have like apps where we can keep track of like how well the album and stuff is doing and the single was doing. So like I would look on there and then it'd be like, oh yeah, you got 300 and something, streams on your single already. And I was like, it's crazy. And then Mana would text me like, like super excited about it. So after that and being able to like see how it's doing and just having that type of feedback, it's just alleviated all my worries.
What does that feel like when you see even a number like 300?
Yeah.
300 streams. You don't know 300 people, do you?
No.
So these aren't 300 friends
Yeah.
listening to your shit. These are strangers.
Yeah.
How's that feel?
It feels really like overwhelming, but like in a good way. I'm just like, cause when you do a show and like afterwards people like, oh, you're so amazing or whatever. Like that's just then, so for to have those people like go and like really like just be invested in you and look up your stuff and then just like stream it after like you asking them to is crazy.
Yeah. It's like I get that with this podcast too, because you release it. Like when you put this out, did you have a number in your head of like, if I can get this many people to listen to it?
Yeah.
What was that number for you?
Dude, it was 100. My
100.
threshold was low.
Yeah.
I was like, honestly, if my mom and dad buy it, I think.
My goal, I was like, on my first episode, if I can just get 20 people to listen,
Yeah.
just 20, I would love that,
Yeah.
And I don't ever talk about like what our downloads are at, but it's way above that, and
Yeah.
it blows your mind because you're like, man, like it's so rewarding to know you worked on something, you can put it out there, and a stranger cares enough
Yeah.
to take an hour out of their day to listen to it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's so cool.
it is.
So now that you've surpassed your goals,
Yeah.
do you have like new goals? Are you like, I'm not going to be happy till we get 10,000?
Not new goals like that. It
Yeah.
just makes me want to like work harder on new material and to like be more active on social media because obviously there's people who care about me and it looks like I don't care about them because I don't post anything. so yeah, it really just makes me want to work harder in those areas for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're going to be surprised at how much having this stuff recorded does for you now.
Yeah.
Right? Because before this, it's the mystery of like, oh, well, what are her jokes about? What does she do?
Yeah.
What's she sound like? Is she funny? And now you got this thing that somebody can go reference all the time.
Yeah.
Like some of the people I've had on here who release like YouTube specials and just put them out there for free.
Yeah.
It's like, the first week they might have like 500 views or, 1,000 views. And then it's like a couple months go by and all of a sudden they're up to like 13,000 views, 15,000 views.
Yeah.
And it's like it just starts slowly growing faster and faster.
Yeah.
So I hope that happens, especially once you start releasing those clips.
Yeah.
That's going to be a game changer, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
You just need to hire like a social media manager.
I really do.
Yeah.
I really do.
Wouldn't you
know
like that?
anybody?
No, I don't. I would love for somebody to take over all that for this, to just
Yeah.
be like, just post the stuff, would
Yeah.
you? And like if I have something, I'll copy and paste it and send
Yeah.
it to you. But yeah, you could find somebody to do that. Make your husband do it.
Oh, yeah, he's not doing anything.
Yeah. You don't think he'd do it for you?
No, I think he would. He just don't like social media either.
Oh, well, okay. I see. Never mind. He's not a
But
good
it might
choice.
be different if I'm just asking him to post stuff for me.
You're just
Maybe
like,
he
here's my list of shows.
Yeah.
Make sure everybody knows
Here's all
about
my
it.
passwords. Log
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
You got it.
Do you think you can navigate your comedy career with no social media?
No.
No, you gotta do it.
I think that's kind of impossible, especially nowadays.
Mm.
Yeah.
Do like when you're on a show, do they get pissed if you don't post anything about it?
No, I haven't been on any shows like that. I usually post, but it's just not ahead of time. I feel like I should start probably posting ahead of time. I feel like this show is just a to-do list for me to stop being such a terrible comedian.
We'll change the subject. I'm sorry.
No, too late. I already feel bad.
It's a common thing though, because they don't want to. Comics don't want to do that. You want to
Yeah.
tell jokes,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then
I think that's every job. Like you want to do one specific part of the job, but then they just like, oh, you need to fill out paperwork and all this other stuff. Like, and you're like, ah.
yeah. What's your favorite size room to perform in?
Honestly, my favorite size, you've been to the Addison Improv?
Yep.
Like from front to like that room, but like filled up.
Like with the curtain pulled and that whole back section open?
Yeah, that's a nice size room.
What do you think you like
just,
about it so much?
It just feels more rewarding when they laugh.
At Addison?
No, not specifically like
But that room, I mean, at Addison.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like it really depends on the room because some rooms have really high ceilings and people could be having the time of their life and I will not know on stage.
Yeah.
So, like, unfortunately, it kind of changes my energy. If I
Yeah.
feel like you're not enjoying it, I get kind of down. And then if y'all were enjoying it but I couldn't hear, then I'm just getting down for no reason and y'all like, why is she getting less hype?
Yeah,
We're so
yeah,
hype.
yeah. Did you actually open for Ronnie Chang?
Yeah, I did.
What the
Actually,
fuck?
Ronnie,
I saw that. That's why I was asking, because he shared a thing about your album, and I was like, oh, shit.
you know, it's crazy.
You didn't even post about that.
I did.
Did you?
Yeah.
No. When you opened for him, did you make a post about that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Maybe I never saw it then.
No.
Where was that at?
That was at the Addison Improv.
No way.
It was.
Well, no wonder you love that club.
Ronnie, I was actually out of town in, I think, Arkansas. And I was doing a show out there. And Ronnie had emailed me. And I never met him before, but he just emailed me. And I thought it was spam
I was
or
going to say,
something like
when
that.
I get an email from Ronnie Chang,
Yeah.
I'm going to be like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay.
Fool me once.
I
Like-
kind of was. I was like, because he was like, would you want to open for me at the Addison Improv or whatever? And I'm like, I've never met this dude before.
Yeah.
So why is he just, I was like, sure.
Sure.
Yeah, you still don't turn it down.
Yeah.
Even if it's spam. But like it was really him and he was like, and I was like,
How
well,
did he-
how did you get my email?
Yeah.
And he was like, I'll just talk to other people that work down here, and then I like looked it up and I got your email and I emailed you.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah, so like I guess people were talking about me like word of
Wow.
mouth. Yeah.
I mean, it's cool in so many ways. One, that people were talking about you and somebody threw out
And
your
then
name.
he actually went out
Yeah.
and looked me up.
Yeah, because that dude's mega famous.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't.
I didn't even know. And then when he performed, like, wow, he's super funny.
I mean, this guy's
And-
pretty good. He should consider doing this. Like,
yeah, and then I looked at it and I was like, Jesus Christ.
yeah. And you're like, oh, he's just been
Yeah.
on like Comedy Central.
He's super nice.
He's
super
just been on the
sweet
Daily
guy.
Show.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Super
Did you
cool
did you
dude.
get to interact with him very much?
Yeah, we talked a lot in the
And
green
he
room.
was just like, yeah, they told me you were funny. I put you on the show. And
yeah, and he was like, nah. And then after I did my set, like the first show he saw me, he was like, amazing. And I was like,
Yeah.
thank you.
It's so awesome too to see a guy like that actually remember that you opened for him and post about your album.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
Yeah, he followed me on Instagram and everything. I only
Yeah.
have 300 followers.
it's just crazy. I mean, it's so refreshing though to
Yeah.
think like he cares about comedy that
yeah,
much.
he's a cool guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. So have you ever thought about, since you want to go on the road, like hitting him up and being like, if you're doing another tour or anything, you want to...
Actually, yeah, I thought about like I work with a lot of like headliners and stuff like that, and I always think about like hitting them up and being like,
What's the etiquette with that? Is that cool?
I don't know. I haven't figured it out. I
Yeah.
haven't figured out a cool approach to being like, hey, if you want to travel,
I think you could pull it off better than most though.
you think so?
Yeah, because you kind of have this like, like your worker, like when you're at work, that personality, like you kind of have this like innocent, like, hey, I don't want to bother you, but I was thinking, like, if you ever go on the road and you need somebody, and like I could see you pulling that off where even if it was really offensive, they were like, well, not this one, but maybe another one, you know? Yeah. Where other people, like if I went up there and I was like, next time you're on the road, I would love to come with you. They'd be like, not a chance, dude. And don't you ever talk to me like this again. All right. You go through my agent every time.
Actually, that's funny that you brought up agent. I actually got fired from a show one time.
You got fired from a show? Please tell me that story.
I was at
Is this because on your album you talk about how much you hate Jewish people, right? Is this that's what it was, right?
No.
Oh, okay. She has the whole album, honestly, people, it's 40 minutes of just her saying why Jewish people shouldn't be here anymore.
Yeah, that was my goal when I was writing. I was like, what can I talk about today about Jewish people?
They haven't had a hard enough time.
Yeah, no, they haven't been through enough.
No, but how'd you get kicked off the show?
I was at the Arlington Improv, and I was working with Affion Crockett was the headliner, and I forgot who the feature was. But I did my set. I thought it went well. Everybody was clapping and stuff. Mm-hmm. And so we're sitting in the green room, after the show, and I'm trying to look cool, right? Because you can't just perform and then leave. Like you gotta like network and mingle a little bit, but it's also kind of weird because like you've never seen that person or talked to them before.
So you just sit hey.
Yeah, you don't want to come off fanny like, oh, I remember you on Wild 'N Out. Remember when you did that? like nobody wants to whatever. So I don't know how to approach.
So you're just like, it's hot outside.
Yeah, you travel. You travel far? Did you get to eat a Whataburger yet?
You travel far?
Where you off to next? Like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but no, I went to work the next day. The night ended. They were super cool and fun to be around, I guess.
Yeah.
The night ended. I was at work the next day. And I get a phone call from the manager at the time. And she was like, I'm going to get you some different dates. And I was like, different dates? And she was like, yeah, Afion's manager don't want you on the show tonight anymore. And I was like, she was like, don't worry about it. It's not you. And I was like, what happened? They was like, you weren't energetic enough. And I was like, I got fired for not being energetic enough. And they were super energetic. So I thought it'd be refreshing to not have that the whole show.
Because you would have been emceeing, right?
Yeah.
MC. So you're right up front. So it's like, you can't come out full speed anyway.
Yeah.
Like you're there to warm people up.
Yeah. And then they didn't want any like jokes in between. So it's not like you got a lot of my personality in between the jokes. I mean, in between the comics.
Do you think it was something different and that's just what they told you? Because I feel like that's feedback. They could have just been like, hey, Latrice, on the next show, just bring up the energy a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, we want a high energy show.
Yeah. They probably just didn't like my style, honestly.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe, like, do you hear about these people who don't like funny people on their shows?
Yeah.
Do you think maybe they wanted
I
somebody who did worse?
actually hear about people who don't want like certain ethnicities on their show. And stuff like it's a black comic. I won't say his name, but he doesn't like other black comedians.
He wants to be the black comic on the show.
Yeah,
that's weird. I've never heard of that.
He won't hire any he won't let any other black comics on his show. If it's his show, he won't let it do it.
Like
but he's been on plenty of like shows where like it was a bunch of like black comics, and he was on there too. But
like, is he just worried like they're going to use up all the black material? Like, what's the like?
I don't know.
That's so strange.
Maybe that could be what it is.
You're gonna off the mic, you'll tell me who that is. I'm very interested in that, but don't say it on here. Don't say it on here. I don't want to, step on anybody's toes. But that's so weird.
It is.
I wonder if you were getting laughs and you were doing good. I wonder if they're just like, the MC's too funny. Get her off the show.
Hey, I mean, it could be that. I mean, I wish they would have told me that. I'd have been like, I don't want to work with you anyway. Okay.
I'll see y'all later.
This is the best firing I ever got.
Did that just crush you though?
It did hurt my feelings a little bit. I won't lie. I did cry for like 5 seconds. I was like, that's kind of messed up.
What a weird phone call to get.
Yeah.
So you weren't energetic enough.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And part of you wants to be like, have you seen my set? Like, didn't you know what you were putting on the show?
It made me rethink my set because I was like, wait, am I being boring? Or like, am I not energetic enough? So
I wonder how many people fall for that. Because if you did change your set, it wouldn't be you. And it would be worse, right? Like if you went in there and you're just like, hey, I'm Latrice, everyone.
Yeah.
Like it would not be funny.
Yeah.
And so I wonder how many comics have fallen into that trap where they get feedback from people. And
I think
horrible feedback.
I think you just have to get way more encouraging comments than you do bad ones, because a lot of people would tell me before that happened, like they were like, I like your dry sense of humor, like it's like I really like it or whatever. A bunch of people told me that, so I guess that didn't bother me as much because of that. I'm like, oh, I guess that's just my style.
When you started out, were you testing out different personalities until you found, or did you kind of know how you want to be?
I think I just stuck with who I was, because I'm not really great at like imitating different things. So I don't think that I could do something different even if I wanted to.
Do you remember the first joke you ever wrote that you performed?
Yes.
It sounds, obviously you don't have to tell the joke, but it sounds like you don't like it.
I remember parts of it, and
just what was the premise? I don't want to know the whole joke.
I was at the dentist, and I think I had a joke about being under the anesthesia or whatever, or just like feeling groggy, and it was me doing that and saying weird stuff to my dentist, and my dentist going, "Huh?" That was the punchline. That
was huh?
Yeah,
that was it?
Yeah. That's why the joke is gone forever.
Yeah, you know what Kill Tony is, right? The podcast Kill Tony. Anyway, there's a famous comedian, and he's a writer for like the roast. His name's Tony Hinchcliffe. He does a show. It started in California. They've moved down to Austin now since Joe Rogan and all them have come down there. But it's a wildly successful show where you go as an audience member. You can sign up to go on stage. They'll pull names out of a bucket. If they pull your name, you go up there, you do 1 minute of comedy. And then once your 1 minute's done, they interview you and kind of roast you a little bit. So it's a fun show, right? And you get a ton of bad comics and you get a couple really good comics, right? And they've like launched a few careers. Like it's a really cool show.
Oh, nice.
But when they came to Fort Worth, me and some friends were going, and we were just going to go watch. But we'd all secretly been like working on a minute-long set, you know? Yeah. And it's like you're going through all the motions of like, okay, I think I could talk about this. I think I'll do that. Then when we got there and it became real, it was just me praying the whole time, do not pull my name. This is all terrible. Why did I think this was funny? Like I was working on something that was about my dog. He's 7 years old now. We got him when he was 4 months. And the first couple years, I don't know what it is, but black men, he just had a major problem. Major problem.
That's got to be the worst dog for you.
Oh, it was terrible. It was terrible. And like it was so bad that we were taking him to a dog daycare a couple times a week. Yeah. And they had a black guy that was working there, Chris. And we picked him up one day, and the people who own the place were like, hey, our dog's name is Jack. They're like, does Jack have an issue with people of color? I was like, sort of. I was like, what happened? And they're like, well, we have Chris here. Jack didn't do anything wrong, but he stays away from Chris, and he barks at him a lot. And I was like, oh my God, so we're embarrassed. We're just embarrassed.
How do you explain that to Chris? Did you talk to Chris?
I talked to Chris later. Because I've known Chris before then, like, hey man, what's up? And Jack just always ran by him, I guess. And I was like, did something happen? Like, did poor Chris get bit or something, And they're like, no. But if you don't mind, we'll work on him. And we're like, you'll work on my racist dog? That would be amazing. Thank you so much. I thought they were getting ready to say, like, he can't come here anymore,
How did they work on that? Like, they put food in front of him, and then when Chris walk in, if he barked, they take the food away?
No. So apparently Chris, I felt like I needed to give Chris a tip. I should have paid him some money. But he would get treats, and he would just like, I don't know, I guess like stand 30 feet from him and just be like, would you like a treat? And every day he'd like inch a little closer. And I picked him up one day, like months later. They're like, so he may be a little sick. I was like, oh, did he eat something weird? What's going on? And they're like, no, Chris has been working with him, and Chris got next to him, and he was standing next to him, and he was letting him pet him. And I was like, holy shit, that's incredible. I was like, that's awesome. And they're like, well, he had his tail between his legs, he was shaking, and he threw up when Chris was petting him.
Oh my God. Why? Your dog is wild.
I don't know what was going on. And
what happened at those 4 months before you got him?
I know. It's like, man, what was going on? And so I was trying forever to figure out, like, So now we figured out like it's not just black men, right? There's some black men that are cool, and then it seems like the taller you are, and the more clothing you wear, the more he's not cool with you. So like during the winter, if you've got like a big puffy coat, a hat on, or something, he's like, "Fuck that guy. That guy's I don't know
Your
what."
dog is profiling hard.
Yeah, he's profiling big time. It's like we'll be at a dog park, and it's like 2 or 3 black dudes will walk in, no problem, and then one black dude will come in, and he's just got
Too many clothes.
certain clothes on or something, and he's losing his shit, and I have to put his leash on. I'm like, I'm sorry, man, he's just weird. And so the joke I was trying to write with the Kill Tony thing, I was trying to find something being funny, because at the time I had my hair buzzed down to like just a number 1 over my whole head, so I'm this white guy with a shaved head, and I was trying to write this joke about how people are always like, you know, when your dog's racist, they take after the owner. And it's like I was trying to write something about that, and then I just realized, like, man, you know, it's probably not too much fun in 1 minute to try to tackle racism.
Yeah.
Like, that's probably not going to work.
I don't think you can summarize it.
No, they're just going to go, oh, this Nazi guy and his racist dog.
Yeah.
That's not funny. And I could see walking out of there with him like, this weird white supremacist went up on stage. I don't know what he was trying to make a joke about. But Jack is so embarrassing. It's so bad. It's so bad. Like, I almost wish he was here so we could just see, like, is he cool with your husband or no?
Yeah. Well, he don't have a lot of clothes on, so
That's true.
He don't have a puffy
That's
coat.
true. Yeah, and I'm starting to realize I don't think he wants to attack anyone. I think he's scared, because when you just have your tail between your legs and you throw up, it's like, what is that? What are you even doing, man?
Yeah, I've never seen that.
It's so weird, yeah. And so our poor little racist dog, he's 7 now, so it's
Yeah.
like, well, I don't know.
Do they grow out of it?
He's from that generation. They were like that, you know?
That's not funny.
I mean, it's not funny, but like, it's just something I got to live with, you know? It's like, what would you think if you and your husband were walking down the street, and then I've got my dog, and my dog just starts losing his shit at the both of you, right? You're looking at me like, ugh, one of those guys.
No, we would totally walk and be like, oh, that guy's racist.
You would, for real? Yeah. Oh, my God. So think of how many people think I'm a horrible racist, probably.
If like a bunch of people walk by, but your dog only barked at us, I'd be like, that dog is
That's what I'm saying. So it's like...
And then you just waving all harmlessly, like, nah, he's trying to kill us.
He's fine. We like everyone. I don't know where he gets it from.
I always want to know like people like who aren't like black.
Yeah.
I just want to know their like the anti-black like conversation. Like how do you convince somebody you're not racist if they call you a racist?
Man, I don't think there's any way you can.
I'm just like curious what direction you would take.
Well, because no argument's going to convince you that I'm not racist if you think I am.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, what would I say? Because the standard go-to that is always the worst response would be like, I have black friends.
Yeah.
But then I have to really catalog. It's like, well, I kind of have black acquaintances. I don't know if I really have black friends. So,
and then you start thinking, am I racist?
Yeah, that was the first thing I thought about my dog. I was like, oh my God. I was like, he's this way because we don't have enough black people around. Like, he's not being exposed. So he's like, this person's different.
And then you're the weirdo trying to just bring more black people over the house.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, you want to come over?
We're just
yeah, don't bring John. Don't bring John.
Yeah.
Just you.
Hey, you guys still have that one neighbor, right? Do you think they're free for dinner? Could y'all come over and bring your neighbor?
But you got to make sure the ratio right. You can't
Yeah. And you don't want to seem too excited when they show up. You don't want to be like, it's so great to meet you.
Yeah, and then be like, we're good, right? Okay.
Well, let me ask you this. If you thought I was racist, is there anything I could say for you to be like, oh, I read him wrong. He's not. Right? Because that's another interesting thing. Is like, is there anything you could do? Or is it just going to take time? Like, I feel like you would just have to see me over multiple other times and realize, like, maybe he's not that way. I just don't like him.
Actually, I'd have to see you, like, not around me. Like, it sounds really stalkerish, but I'd have to see you,
like with another black person?
Yeah, I guess. But, like, without me around. Like, I just have to see you with somebody, like, you'll probably never see again.
Yeah, and you're like, he does treat everyone equally.
Yeah, then I just pop out the bushes like, okay, you're not racist. You're cleared.
Oh, my God. Did you ever see that Louis C.K. bit where he's like, I am a little racist. And he was like, because if I see someone that opened up a pizza shop, I'm like, I don't think anything of it. He's like, but if I see like a pizza shop that's owned by like 4 black women, I'm like, that's nice. That's really nice. And he's like, so I am a little racist because I shouldn't think anything about that. I should just think, oh, look at this great pizza shop.
Yeah.
And I think that rings true for like the average white person now.
That's crazy, but I would think the same thing. Maybe I'm a little racist too, but like more like pro-black, I guess. Maybe.
I don't know.
Cause like if I go to a restaurant and it's just like a regular pizza restaurant, I'll be like, that's fine.
Yeah.
But if I know like 4 black women, I'm like, that's great. Good job. I think I'm a little racist.
Like they overcame.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so weird. It's so weird because I catch myself trying to unwind some of that stuff. I grew up in Texas. Texas has its own problems, right?
Yeah.
And then I grew up in a really small town. And I'm in my mid-30s now, and it's like you start to realize you're like, wow, so much of this stuff is around your environment.
Yeah.
But then you don't want to overcorrect and be
Yeah.
that weirdo,
Yeah.
you know, and you're like, oh, it's basically it's really easy to look stupid right now.
Yeah. Everybody's part, dude. It's really easy.
You're like watching Shark Tank. You're like, I like Damon. He's really good.
Yeah. I was like, he gave that other black man an offer. What? So sweet.
So sweet.
And then I was like, none of the white people gave an offer. It's
Right.
probably just a bad product.
Like, you know what I will do? I catch myself. I'm not the type of person who like holds doors for people a lot. Like I'll hold them for my wife.
Yeah.
If you're right there, I'll hold it for you, right?
Yeah.
But I have noticed if it's a minority that's like further away than what a white, like if someone was like 15 feet from the door and it's a white person, it's like you get your own
I
fucking door.
slam the door.
Yeah, get your fucking door, man. But I have noticed, I think because of like all the Black Lives Matter stuff, all the things you hear about, you're like, now you're thinking like, I should hold this door so they know like there's some good ones out there. Like
You trying to overprove yourself?
it's overcorrecting. And it's like, this person's not going to remember that you opened the door.
Yeah.
They don't give a shit.
Yeah. And then you can never like win because then some black people will think like, oh, he think I can't get my own door.
He would. Oh, thank you, sir, for letting
You
me.
don't want me to touch the door?
I appreciate you allowing me coming into Chipotle
Yeah,
here.
you can't win. You can't win.
Well, like, you ever gone to another country? Like when we go to Mexico, it's like America and Texas. They're all like, build that fucking wall, stay out of my country, right? That's how they are. So if we go to Mexico, I feel like we're extra friendly because we want to show them like. We like Mexicans. We like Mexico. It's beautiful. Muy bonita. Like,
Yeah. Then it's just like racist.
And then and so I realized I was like, shit, I do this at home just like with minorities. It's like, what the fuck am I doing? Like just act like a normal person. Just hold the door if you're gonna hold the door.
Yeah. I just wouldn't stress about it so much. You can't win.
I don't stress about it. I just know it's silly. Like it's silly because it's ingrained in there. You don't even think about it.
Yeah.
And then it's like one day it dawns on you and you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
That was really dumb.
Yeah. And then this one radical white person messes it up for everybody. And then you're just like,
that's so
square
funny.
one.
You just made me think of all that because you're like, how would you convince me you're not racist?
Yeah.
Do you think about like, does that topic come up in your mind a lot?
No.
Like if that white guy was going to convince me he wasn't racist, what would he do?
See, now that we're talking about it, I'll probably write a joke on it.
Hey, take it. I would love for you to write a joke about it. Yeah.
I don't know how you would convince me. That's a great question.
Yeah. I don't think there's a win.
It's not. There isn't. You can
Right.
do the sweetest thing ever, and then I'm just like, oh, you did this because you are racist.
Yeah. Now, you're only doing this now because I called you out.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. That's such a, what's fun about those conversations, like I love talking like this because so if you talk like that in public anyway, or not in public, if you're a famous person and you try to have that conversation,
Oh, yeah. It just goes
they light
south.
you up, right?
Yeah.
But really, it's like all this stuff is what people are always thinking, right?
Yeah.
So if you have that conversation, you're probably going to be way more enlightened about it than you ever would have been.
Yeah.
I think that's what's going on with like trans people right now.
Oh, yeah.
I think we're all just really confused by what that is, period. And it's
Yeah.
hard to have any kind of real conversation without either side losing their mind over it.
I can't even be in the not non-supportive, but I can't even be like just on my own and without getting in trouble. Like people are just like mad about everything, and I'm just like, I was just trying to go to the store, guys, and, and y'all are like bashing me about it.
Yeah, it's real interesting now.
And they like, oh, you aren't supportive. I'm like, I'm not supportive of straight people. I don't know what you want me to do.
Yeah, like
I barely promote myself. I don't even post on my Facebook. What do you want from me? You want me to do something incredible for you?
Yeah, we need a thing that's just like, I'm not taking any stance on anything.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get by.
Yeah, I'm like, I always tell them, like, I don't care what you do as long as your name isn't Deontay. Like, you're not my husband. I don't care what you do.
Our son is 2 years old, and my wife was talking about that. She's like, wow, so when he's in high school, we're going to have to be navigating like conversations about like trans and things like that. And I was like, I don't think so. I was like, his generation isn't going to care about this, period.
Yeah.
That's going to be like a normal thing to them, and we're going to be onto something totally new, like kids are dating robots.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's all it is. I think
It is going to be kids dating
it's going to be
robots.
something like that. It's going to be like, did you hear this guy, John, who wants to bring his sex doll to prom?
Yeah.
It's
And like, well, she doesn't like the term sex doll. She prefers doll, an ambiguous doll.
Ambiguous. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to turn into you just got to put a new title on everything. It's going to be so annoying.
I'm kind of waiting for it because, like, can you imagine being 70 years old and you're just watching that kind of like chaos unfold of like people fighting about whether or not this kid can have a doll?
Yeah.
And in the meantime, I'm just sitting there like, if nobody's getting hurt, do we care?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
It's pretty weird.
The talk with my kids is just going to be like, do it makes you happy.
Do y'all have kids?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Thinking about it?
Yeah. Yeah. We actually just decided like, maybe we should try.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you think made now feel like it's baby time?
I don't know. I just had a birthday, so I just turned 30. So
it's the age?
Yeah. It's like
you're not getting any younger.
Yeah. And then everybody in my family like just did it right away. Just like whether on accident or purpose. So
Yeah.
They just did it right away. So I just feel like all late. And my parents not putting any pressure on me because my brother and sister already have kids.
Oh, that was nice of them to take it off.
Yeah.
off
So
your
now they're
shoulders.
just like, whenever you want. Because
Yeah.
like they have grandkids. So it's not a big worry for them no more.
Yeah,
I guess.
we had all the pressure in our family because we were my brother he has kid and but there was like a long gap. Like he had his kid and then we got married and it's been a long time since that kid was born. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now they're like, y'all thinking about babies and all
Yeah.
that. And it's so much pressure.
I'm pretty sure when they get older, my mom might be like, all right.
Yeah. But you think you're ready now, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you? Because now I have a 2-year-old, so I'm like I'm a parent, but I'm like kind of a parent. Like I'm an open micer parent.
Yeah.
Right.
That is the stressful part of it because
What-
we discussed before, I want to tour and all this other stuff, but that becomes a lot harder when you become a mom, especially because I want to TMI, I want to breastfeed.
Yeah.
So like you got to be home more often for that.
Yeah.
So then I don't want to drag my kid everywhere.
True.
Yeah.
Interesting. Are there any comics that you know that have that had kids while they were performing comedy?
No, I
Yeah.
don't
So,
actually.
yeah.
Because actually, all the comics I know that have kids, they're kind of old enough to like, I guess it sounds bad to leave them.
Yeah, they can stay at home, hang out with a friend.
Yeah, go over to their
yeah.
grandparents' house and stuff like that. So
What do you think being a parent's going to be like? Because you'll be able to hear this after you have a kid and judge yourself on it, you know?
I just feel like everything will be funny, and I know it won't be.
Everything will be funny? Okay.
Yeah, I feel like I won't be able to like be a serious parent because
That's good, though.
I just look at everything like it's funny. It's not good for disciplining because if they like do something that they should never do again, I'm gonna be like,
That's why you got Deontay,
did
though. He
what?
can do the discipline.
No, he's goofy too. He's goofy too. So
Yeah.
I feel like he'd start laughing too. He probably just wouldn't laugh with the girl.
Yeah.
He'd be super strict, but with the boy, I feel like he'd just probably be like,
Yeah, it's so wild. I don't know what I thought being a parent was going to be like.
you have a daughter or son?
We have a son.
Are you more loose with your son than you feel like you would be with a daughter?
I don't know. I feel like I never know what I'm doing, period. Because there's been moments where you like there was one moment where he was reaching for something. It was either something really sharp or something on the stove, like something hot. Something that was really going to fuck him up and hurt him.
Yeah.
And I I did that smack on the hand where you kind of grab it at the same time.
Yeah.
So like he got a pop, but then I grabbed his hand and pulled it away like in the same moment. And I was like, no, and like yelled at him and like it turned on like my, dad voice. And his face just like swelled up and the little lip popped out.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he was scared. It was like that deep hurt, like he yelled at me.
Yeah. I feel like that's worse than like
Oh.
if you just found out your kid got like hurt by you, like
Yeah.
emotionally.
Oh, it was like deep in his soul. Like that's going to be some trauma he holds on to. And it's like I immediately like picked him up. I was like, I'm so sorry. It's just it's hot. We don't touch hot. And like,
Yeah.
but their little brains, they can't process that yet. You're just trying to keep them from dying.
I
And-
feel like you the type of like guy to like never forget something like when you messed up. So when
Man,
he
it's
becomes
brutal.
16, you just got this weird talk with him. Like, remember when you were 2
Yeah.
and I like snatched your hand? I didn't mean it like that.
Yeah.
It was just hot.
Or like if he gets in trouble, I'll be like, this because I slapped his hand that one time. That's what happened here.
Yeah, he's in and out of jail.
Yeah. If I
Can't
just
keep
would
a relationship.
if I just would have redirected him, we would have been fine.
He's going to therapy crying about it.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, I didn't mean it.
Oh man, you know what else? So when he was between like 1 and 2, we had this little bedtime routine where I'd put him down and he'd like give me a hug and a kiss and we put him in his little bed. It's like the cutest little thing, right? And then now I'm like, you give daddy a hug, and he's like, no.
Hey, really at 2?
2 years old, he goes,
Oh,
no.
no.
And he does it in such a like hurtful way because he's not looking at you and being like, no. He's like not even paying attention to you. He's like looking the other way. He's like, no. Like it was never an option. It was
Dang.
never on the table.
Didn't even think about it.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
That hurts.
It's just, I feel like so far it's just been these extreme highs of like, he's so cute. This is so much fun. This is great. To these extreme lows of like, why won't he shut up? Shut up. He can't understand me. I wish he could understand me. He's just whining. We're not going to the park again. We're not going. And I mean, it'll just, or, like one day I had a smoothie and something happened. He threw a ball and it just sprayed purple smoothie all over our wall.
Oh, no.
It's like, Jesus, man, So I don't know. It's interesting, but we don't know what we're doing. We're figuring it out.
Yeah.
I think you just got to jump in on it.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
do too.
You think you're going to be strict or loose?
I want to say I'm going to be loose, but I feel like I might end up being a little more strict.
Was your mom and dad strict? How were they?
Oh, they were super strict.
Super strict.
Super strict.
I
Oh,
bet-
my God.
I bet you're going to be strict like them.
Yeah.
Because it's in there.
Nah.
Yeah, you're going to.
You know when you grow somewhere strict, you just like, I'll never do that.
I think my mom was fairly strict and my dad was more loose.
Yeah.
And I feel like I hear myself say things sometimes and it's like, that's totally my mom.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy shit, I'm becoming her with these things, because it'll be like, my wife, we might have like 3 books and we're like, which book do you want to read? And he's like not picking one or not doing anything. And it goes on and he starts crying. And in my mind, I'm like, we just don't need any books then. We're getting rid of these books, If
You don't want to read?
if you're not going to read them, we'll take
Yeah.
them away. You better make a choice right now, And then I reel it back in. I'm like, whoa, that's not me. That was my
I
mom.
probably took that a little too far.
Yeah, and I'm like, he's 2 years old. He's not very decisive yet.
Yeah.
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 It's strange. I bet you end up being real strict.
I hope not. My dad, it's funny because I want to say both my parents were really strict, but I think my dad was a little looser,
Yeah.
but he was just more like the enforcer.
Are you the youngest?
Yeah.
So you were daddy's girl then, right?
A little bit.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, a little
yeah.
bit. He would still get mad, but it's more like a at the end of the yelling, it's like, for real, Treese, don't do it anymore.
When you had 2 siblings, is that what you said?
Yeah, I have an older brother and an older sister.
Yeah, so he's already been through 2 of this. He's like, you're
But
fine.
me and my sister are really close in age. Like, we're only 2 years apart, so
Okay.
it wasn't like a big gap. Me and my brother are like 4 or 5 years apart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Do you think you want multiple kids or just one? Or
I just want a boy and a girl, and if we mess up and just get 2 of one, maybe adopt. If
Okay.
we in that type of like financial situation.
So up to 3. You're
Yeah.
willing to go up to 3.
Yeah, up to 3 if it don't work out the way you want.
Man, think of all this new comedy material you're gonna have.
Oh my God. It's just gonna be my next CD name. Just gonna be called Stressed.
Stressed, yeah. It is. It's a whole new level of stress. Like, what's weird is you'll run into people like Ralph Barbosa. He's been on the show, and it's like I'll see him out and about, and he was a dad way before me.
Yeah.
But he's way younger than me.
Yeah.
So it's weird to go talk to somebody like in their early 20s about like fatherly advice,
Yeah.
where you're like, so what were you doing when they did that? And he'll break it down and be like, oh yeah, when they do this, what I do is that.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck.
And then you do it and it works out, and you're like, kid is so wise.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it really is, because it's like, I think what you realize as a parent, my experience anyway, is like what you think you know right now about stuff. Like it's almost like you're going to be 2 different people.
Yeah.
You're going to be before kid and after kid. And you're going to look at before kid and go like, I thought I knew what problems were, and I thought I knew what stress was.
Yeah.
And then now you're like so capable of doing this other stuff so easily, because you're like, that stuff's easy.
Yeah.
It's not the he's not dying stuff,
Yeah.
And it felt like a switch that just kicked on. It's like nothing you could really prepare for. I think it's just kind of in you. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden it just turns on.
Yeah.
It's so weird though. When I think of how I thought I never had time in the past, and then now it's like I really don't have time.
Yeah, it's like I could have been doing so much before.
Yeah, that's why I felt so bad about not giving you the address today, because it's like
Yeah.
if you had to cancel today, my mind always goes to like, man, that's time that they could have put towards something else. Because like I know my time is so few and far between out with my free time. It's like that's my most valuable asset now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you ready for that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the appropriate response.
Yeah.
I think anyone who's like, I'm 100% ready for kids,
let's
it's like,
do this.
no, you're not. You're
I read books.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God. That's exciting.
We'll see. I'll
Yeah.
just be in here next time with my baby like, I regret it.
You're just chain smoking. You're like, it's just so hard.
Yeah. I'm just in here with a flask. Like, you ready to do this podcast?
Oh my God. Yeah.
I don't
I'm
think it'll be
excited.
that bad.
No, it's not going to be that bad. The thing I always try to tell myself is it's like, there's a bunch of morons out there who have kids and they figure it out. And I don't even mean bad parents. Like,
No, I know what you mean.
there are stupid people
Yeah.
that are very good parents.
Yeah. I've had some friends from high school that have kids now, and I'm like, you have a kid?
Mm-hmm.
And then they're so great with them. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, yeah. It's gonna be good. You know what was weird when we were when we decided we were ready to have a kid is when people are like, so are you trying? Or how long have you been trying, right?
Technically, I've been trying.
Right.
Since then.
It's such a weird conversation. Her family is just the sweetest family. They're so nice.
Yeah.
And they don't have these rude thoughts like I do. They're nice people. And I remember when we announced that she was pregnant, it's like, like her aunts and uncles and people, they're coming up to me and they're like, so how long were y'all trying? And it's such a weird, like, are you asking me how long we've been fucking? Like,
Yeah.
like, this is your blood relative. You want me to talk about, well, we try like 2-3 times a week, Like,
I like to try 5 times a week, but she's always sleeping.
yeah, I'm only one man. You know what I mean? But it is such it's such an innocent, like, how long y'all been trying for? And what they want to hear is like, 6 months or whatever.
Yeah.
And like, do you want to be like, nah, man, it was like 1 month. Like, we were good to go.
Yeah.
Like, this is grade A quality here.
Yeah, I'm surprised it didn't happen sooner.
Yeah.
We tried a lot back in.
But it's such a weird, normal thing to be like, so how long were y'all fucking before she finally got pregnant? Like, that's really what you're saying.
We got lucky for 2 years, and then our luck ran out around.
Yeah, yeah. So anytime I got that question, I just was laughing on the inside so hard.
Yeah.
And my wife would just like bump me, like, don't say anything stupid, please.
I go right off and say something. You don't even have enough time to like bump me. I just say something stupid right off the bat.
Yeah, it's weird. And then that's all anybody wants to talk to you about is baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're no longer like, they won't even ask you about comedy stuff at work
No.
anymore. They'll just be the baby.
Next time they see you, they just be like, "It happened? You like, no, not
Yeah.
yet. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You gonna try when you get home? Like, okay, this is weird.
I'm excited for you, because you're in this fun spot. Like, you're going to start redoing a bunch of material, or not redoing it, but you're going to start creating more material.
Yeah.
And then if you do get pregnant, it's like you're going to have a couple huge fun changes all at the same time.
Yeah,
That'll be great.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
It's important to have a constant like kind of change in order to be able to write.
Change
things.
is so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would never drop names, but it's like you see some people that get stuck.
Yeah.
And you're like, I know you're so funny.
Yeah.
Like, I know you just need to work on writing.
Yeah.
Like, you're already funny.
A lot of people don't realize, like, in order to write, you need to actually go experience, new and different things. And
Yeah.
you can't write if you're not experiencing anything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just,
Do you feel like you ever go out of your way just to do something weird and new?
actually, I like to think of myself as like an adventurous person in the first place. So I'm always like down to like try like new things. My husband not really adventurous. Like, he is, but he's also like, there's some things where he just like a hard no on.
He's the guy who keeps you from killing yourself?
Yeah. I'm just like, I want to swim in the middle of the ocean. And he's like, no. Babe, no.
Oh, there's sharks out
You'll
there.
die.
Yeah. Well, what was the last thing you did that he was like, absolutely not?
I went to go skydiving. I didn't get to go, obviously.
Yeah.
But I really wanted to go. Like, I was dead serious.
He threw down a husband veto on that?
He did.
Yeah.
You just like,
What makes you want to jump out of a plane?
I don't know. I feel like it'd be fun.
I've thought about doing that so many times, and then I'm always like, Nah.
Every time I see a movie of like somebody either doing it for sport or like even the military movies where they like paratroopers, like they jump down, it looks so fun.
It does look fun.
And you don't
Yeah.
hear about enough deaths, so it does.
Yeah.
It's not a thought. You're like, nobody dies.
Have you heard about these people where their parachute didn't open and they hit the ground, but they live?
Yeah.
That is
And they
fucking
just messed up
wild.
for life, though.
But like, I wonder what goes through your mind when you live through that.
I don't know. And this sound bad, but I don't want to live through it. I don't think I'd be a very inspiring disabled person. Like I just don't think I'd inspire a lot of people.
You just get up there and you're just like,
Yeah.
I'm in constant pain.
Yeah.
I
like,
can't do anything. Please
like
don't skydive.
I don't think my background story is very encouraging enough for me to become disabled. like I wasn't involved in charities beforehand, so if I do it afterwards, I just look like a jerk. I don't have any.
Oh my God, that is true. I met a woman one time who was kind of like that. She had breast cancer, was a survivor of breast cancer, right? And the reason I knew that is because it was what's breast cancer month? September, where we do all the pink and everything.
October, right?
One of those months, right? Whatever the pink month is, right? And the NFL does it, and everybody does it. And she was like, "Oh, this fucking pink!" Like she was mad, and I was like, "Hi." I was like, what was that? I think I was waiting tables at the time. Like,
Yeah.
I think she was one of my customers. When I was at Chili's, we were doing something for breast cancer.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm sorry, I'm just a breast cancer survivor. And it's like, just because I had cancer, people think I love the color pink and all this bullshit. And it's like, she was going off.
Jeez.
And I was like, wow, I didn't even think about that. Like in her mind, she was like, cancer was bad enough.
Yeah.
Now everybody just wants to talk to me about breast cancer, and they always think I want a pink ribbon and wearing a pink shirt. And it's
Yeah.
like, that became her whole identity, was the breast cancer survivor.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense. Like, I'm not trying to go back on racism.
No,
but
go
like,
ahead, go ahead.
But like, Black History Month, and then like it's like at different places in your job and stuff, they put
Yeah.
up, oh, this is what Rosa Parks did, blah blah blah,
Yeah.
or this is what somebody went through. I'm like, I don't want to hear about all these people like getting like destroyed. Like it's not a fun memory to have.
That's a good point. And also, most of these companies, they're doing it just to try to make a buck.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't think you're genuine. I
Yeah.
don't think you get we just went through all the like the Pride Month.
Yeah.
And there's like a gay Whopper now or something, and it's like,
What is it called?
I don't remember. I don't know. But it's like every company has their thing, and it's like, you could just support gay people. Like, I don't is any gay person like, we should definitely eat at Burger King now?
Yeah.
I don't know how that goes down, but
I don't know either, and I also don't understand why, especially like on your sexual preference, why you need so much support. like I understand, like, to get people, like, there are people out there that are just super hateful and
Yeah.
they'll just say it at you for no reason. F those people, right?
yeah.
But like me, like, why do you need so much support from me? I'm like, you want me to be like, go do it, go do it tonight. Seriously,
That's
start
so
trying.
interesting.
Like,
yeah. I don't know. It's that's what's weird about all that. Every time I think about like gay marriage, abortion, transgender rights, racism, any of that stuff, all that goes through my mind is like, are we still talking about this?
Yeah.
Y'all still care about that? I
Yeah.
thought we were over that.
Yeah.
And then you realize, like, I guess we're not over it. These people are still arguing about it.
I mean, the world is confusing. The world wants you to do what you want to do, but at the same time, they want to control what you do.
Yeah.
And so people want control over other people, but they also want to be free. So it's just a never ending, just like cycle of like,
Yeah.
if there's no happy spot.
You know what I tried to do for a while? It did not work. But
Yeah.
is when people would ask me about something like that, like say someone was like, what do you think about, gay marriage? I'd just be like, oh, I don't care.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, you don't care for it or against it? And I'd be like, I just don't care, period. Like, at all. Like, whatever. And they'd be like, but you got to take a stance. And it's like, no, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't have to take a stance on anything. Are they getting married? Yeah, I don't care. Look. And then you realize it's like people really want you to go to a side. Like, you have to tell us where you're at or we don't know what to think about
Yeah.
you.
You can't be mutual.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, that's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That's why your comedy will heal the world.
Yeah. Just my insensitivity is just going to heal the world. I'm just go out there and be like, I don't care. I don't.
Did you ever see that? There was like a TikTok or something where it showed how people reacted through the different generations when somebody bumped into them.
No.
So it was the same guy walking through the same hall, and like somebody bumped into him and it was like the 1970s, and somebody bumped him and everybody just kept walking, nothing happened. And then in the 80s, they just kind of like looked at each other like, oh, hey, what's up, you know? And then in the 90s, they got bumped really hard and it was like, whoa, dude, what's going on? And then it got to the 2000s and they get bumped and they're like falling on the ground, crying. And everything is just so dramatic.
It is.
And it's like, I feel like a lot of people just in general, myself included probably, just toughen up a little bit and don't have such thin skin about everything. Yeah, it's an interesting time, and then you want to bring a child into it.
Now I just seem like a bad parent before I even become a parent. Like, oh, why did you put me in this?
No, it's gonna be great.
Yeah,
you're gonna love it. I mean, you're gonna hate it, but you're gonna love it.
Yeah. Most things. Yeah.
Have you? Do you ever watch your? You said you had nieces and nephews, right?
Yeah.
You do any babysitting?
Yeah, they're
How's that
so
go?
adorable. It goes fine, but that's because I can give them back.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if they have to like just stay with me more than like a couple of nights, it'd be like, whoo.
They just come over and stay at the house, or do you take them places?
Oh, they just come stay at our house. Yeah. When my husband was deployed, I lived with my sister for a little while because he didn't want me to stay by myself. It was like a safety thing, I guess.
Yeah.
So we live with I live with my sister and the nephews and stuff. They were there. So I helped like try to discipline them a little bit, like when they were just like around me and not my sister. But
discipline them how? Like, tell me how that goes.
Like when she tells them, "Oh no, you can't do this," or "You can't have another one," or like a snack or whatever. I'll be like, "No," and then they'll do it anyway. I'm like, "But next time."
Like, I'm getting better though. This time I verbally got it out.
I'm like, I'll come in the room like, "Did she tell y'all to go to sleep?" And then they're like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "Well, try your best." Like I'm just so.
You know what I do? I didn't even realize it until just now, but I have to give myself pep talks sometimes.
Before you go talk to your kid.
A lot of times it's before I'll pick him up from daycare. That's when that's when he has like a really high chance of being like whiny and crying because he's tired, he's hungry, but he wants to like keep playing. You know? And it's like, I'll sit in the truck for a second and just be like, he's a little kid. You're a grown man. Like, you need to put on a smile.
Yeah, stand your ground.
We're going to be positive. We're going to try to have good vibes right now. Okay. I know you just got off work too, but he doesn't know that. He doesn't know what a job is.
I know you just paid 4 bills, but it's fine.
This daycare is really expensive. He should be like, why aren't they raising him to be sweeter and nicer and kinder? Like, oh my gosh.
That's true.
It's so true. Because like some days I'll pick him up, he'll run to you, he'll give you a big hug, and he'll be like, "Hi, Daddy." And he'll be like, "I want to walk." And he'll walk down the hall, like just swaying, like real cute. And he stops and looks at things and he's like, "A cat," you know? And you're like, yeah. And then other days you go up to the door and he's like, "I'm still playing." And you literally got to like walk in the class and drag him out screaming.
Yeah.
And then when you put him back on the ground, he wants to run up and down the hall back to the room and all that. You're just like, Jesus Christ, kid. Why
like what happened to the Monday you? You were so cool on Monday.
Those pep talks are huge. Yeah. I now know, like, not to sound too depressing, but like, you know how you hear those news stories where you're like, they grabbed the baby and they shook the baby. And you're just like, And like before I had a kid, I was like, people, those monsters, I could never believe, Now I've been in so many situations where I was like, oh, this is when they snap. Right here's the moment when they snapped. And it's like, okay, I know I'm not going to do that, but I see now how they got there. And how like if you like, I have a support system with my wife and everything. It's like, but I could see how if you were a single parent and like your job sucks, you hate what you do or whatever, and then you get to you haven't slept in 3 days, and you're just like, whoo, snap. So that'd be the only thing like I could recommend is just go, it's going to be terrible, but it's going to be awesome.
When I grew up, I want to say maybe like a couple years after I turned 21, because you go wild for a little while. You're I can drink legally. So I don't remember anything between the age of 21 and 23. But when I came back to, when the first thing I did, like especially when I moved out, started paying my own bills, I just went back to my parents' house and I was just like, sorry.
Yeah.
They're like, "What are you talking about?" I'm from birth to 18. I'm sorry. I know exactly what y'all talking about now.
Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. It's like you wish you could somehow get that insight when you're like 15.
Yeah.
So you knew like, oh.
Yeah. But you can't dig that deep. Like even if you show the kids like your bills and everything, you're just like, bro, I worked hard. Yeah. And I got you a PlayStation and you still mad? Like,
oh my God. Lawrence Rosales.
Yeah.
He has a kid. And
Yeah.
he was talking. I don't know if it's one of his bits or if he was just talking to me and my wife about it, but we were talking to him at Hyenas one day, and he was talking about, he's like, man, I took my kid out to eat, and he's like, my kid's little, and he was like throwing food on the floor. And he's like, I was just thinking, like, if you only knew how little money I made, you're wasting my goddamn food. And it's like, oh, so yeah, you're gonna get some great stuff for your new material.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
Well, listen, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
I'm so happy I finally got to meet you.
Yeah, I'm happy to meet you.
I would
too.
definitely encourage you to use your social media more
thank
so
you.
that I can come to more of your shows.
Yeah.
Even if you just want to like shoot me a text or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, you've always been so funny when I've seen you in the past. I was so excited when you put out this comedy album. It's called I Know, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And everybody, it's streaming everywhere, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Spotify,
All the
Apple
spots.
Music,
Yeah.
Amazon. Yeah.
Is there anywhere they should listen to it more than anywhere else? Like, do you get any like big bucks any certain way? Or
I do. It do boost me on the charts if you just go buy my album off of iTunes and just
iTunes?
listen on iTunes.
Okay.
But really, I'll just be happy if you guys just stream it anywhere.
Yeah.
But if you have choices to pick from, iTunes.
I love it. There were I don't want to step on any of it. I want people to go listen to it. But there were so many parts where it's like you took the words right out of my brain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when you're talking about the homeless person on the side of the street.
Yeah.
And you do something with your car, and it's the exact same thing I do. And then when you were talking about the police horse interaction,
Yeah.
it's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
So please, everybody go listen to it. What is your social media that you're not using? So they can, just in case you actually
The
use it.
social media I'm gonna start using is at Comedian Latrice, Latrice Wilkerson on Facebook, at Comedian Latrice on Instagram, and at Comedian Latrice on TikTok. I'm gonna start putting up TikTok videos.
All right.
Travis. You're gonna be so proud of me.
I'm going to be very proud.
And I have a website, it's comedianlatrice.com, and all my shows are on here, even the podcast. I post everything on their website is up to date.
Okay.
And I constantly update it. So if you don't see my shows anywhere, you'll see them on my website.
There it is. Thank you so much.
Thank you
You're
so
welcome
much.
back on anytime. Let me know if you ever want to
Okay,
promote
I'll
something.
be here tomorrow.
All right, that sounds great.
See ya. Thank you.